If you're building a business and it feels constantly like you're almost breaking through, but not quite there, this might be why. This week, I caught myself in a pattern that's followed me for really most of my life. And if I didn't fix it now, it was going to cost me the entire year. On Tuesday morning, I was driving into the office and I recorded a bit of a voice memo. And this wasn't because revenue was down or not because something broke, but because something felt off internally within me. And the thought was simple. What if this becomes another almost year? And that question, for me, is a lot heavier than it sounds. For context, my name is Tanner O'Brien. I am the CEO of ActionCOACH Central Texas. And over the last few years, we've grown our revenue over 500% and our profitability by over 800%. And this year, I'm on a mission to retire my parents from the day-to-day operations of our business. This isn't one of those motivational lines. This is the true objective. So I cannot afford for this to be another almost year. In that voice memo, I said something that honestly really surprised me. I feel like everything gets close, but not quite. And when I feel that way, my brain does something automatically. It rewinds. Collegiate swimming, I improved every year. I put in the reps, I put in the dedication all of the time, but I was never the best. I never hit the times I really set out to achieve. My banking career, promotions, growth, but not quite the role that I thought I'd be able to prove something in. Even the early years of this business, progress, systems, structure, momentum, but internally, not quite. And here's probably the most important part. It isn't about the money. In this case, for me, it's about proof. It's about self-trust. More importantly, it's about that quiet fear of not fully amounting to what you believe you're capable of. And I know that I'm not the only entrepreneur who has ever felt that. But here's what's changed. It was about 5 days earlier, so over the weekend, I had reforecast the entire year. I sat down, I opened up the numbers, I looked at the plan, I asked some hard questions. Where is my focus actually going? What is actually compounding? And what's just motion? You see, when I sat down at the end of December and built out the plan for this year, I knew that there was something that was going on all of last year that I had to really clamp down on. And that was my focus. I had this focus that was just way out wide, and I needed to bring that in and narrow that focus. So that's what I did. I built a plan around it that led from personal things I want to accomplish to the different business entities and how this all forms together. Over the course of January, I felt that narrow focus I allowed to start to widen. So more things were taking my time, my energy, my focus, and it just got wider and wider and wider. And I could feel my energy dip as the month went on as a result of this increase or broadened scope of focus. So it was really important to adjust and say, where is this focus at today? And how do I start shifting it back into things that are most important for where we're headed? And it's because when you're capable, you tend to see opportunities everywhere. It's the new initiatives, it's the new ideas, it's the new levers, the new improvements. The danger here isn't laziness, but it is diffusion. And diffusion creates almost. Not because you're not working, but because your energy is fragmented. One of my favorite books on this topic is the book Essentialism. And in this book, Essentialism, there's a graphic that comes to mind right here. And it shows focus or energy in the middle of these circles, and our focus being the arrows. So when we have focus that's all over the place, we go very short in multiple directions versus heavy focus on one specific direction. So if you need a book recommendation this week, Essentialism, phenomenal book to read. So I had realized something this week. Almost, for me, is not a performance issue. It's an architecture issue. If your system is scattered, your results also will feel scattered. If your attention is divided, your confidence will feel divided. And if I'm serious about retiring my parents this year, I don't need more ideas. I need more concentration. I need that focus. And so I need tightened structure. One primary engine, clear constraints, disciplined focus, Nothing dramatic, just architectural. Almost immediately when going through this process, the emotional weight of this lifted a bit. Not because anything actually changed externally, but because the foundation felt a bit stronger. If you're watching this and you feel stuck, before you question your ability, before you pivot your business, before you assume you need any new strategy, I implore you to ask yourself, is this actually a capability problem or is it a concentration problem? High performers like you and I don't traditionally struggle because we lack drive. We struggle because we have too many options. We mistake motion for leverage. We mistake busyness for inevitability. But inevitability comes from structure. Self-trust doesn't come from all of the hype. It comes from focused execution long enough to let the math actually work. I don't want to almost retire my parents. I don't want to almost build a self-running asset. I don't want to almost prove that the model works. This year's got to be about inevitability. And that inevitability isn't emotional, it's architectural. So this week wasn't flashy. It was disciplined. And sometimes that's the most important work that you do. If this resonates with you, I encourage you to follow along. I'm documenting this entire journey as publicly as I possibly can. As always, let's go build some amazing businesses together.